Hi guys, it's Oluwatomilade and you're welcome to another episode of Bible Times with Oluwatomilade. This is episode 3 and in this episode I would be talking about when God kills your sons. First of all, thanks to everyone that has been watching our videos. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for liking. Thank you for encouraging and supporting this assignment that God has placed in our hands. I pray God blesses every one of us. And always remember that the reason why we're doing this is to stir up an interest in going to read the Bible for yourself. This is not an alternative to getting revelation from the Bible by yourself. It is just something to motivate you, spur you, interest you into going into the Bible to read by yourself. Okay, so today let's go into this video. This episode is a bit difficult for me. So this is the second time I'm actually recording this episode. I've gone on to record the next episode after this, then I'm back to doing this again, and it's still a bit difficult for me. So just stay with me. Just stay with me. From the title, "When God Kills Your Son," you can tell that it's not a joking stuff. It's not a joking matter. It is actually quite serious. And in this video, I want to just draw two parallels between two men, Eli and Aaron. Quick Bible quiz. What is the relationship and or similarity between Eli and Aaron? I'll give you 20 seconds to think about that. Okay, so what's the relationship between Eli and Aaron? Of course, Aaron was a priest. Eli was a priest. Both of them were the high priests. Aaron was the first high priest ordained by God, and Eli is actually his descendant. So Aaron had 4 sons. His last son is Ithamar, and Eli is a descendant of Ithamar. So the priestly line continued from Aaron till it got to Eli. Now Eli had 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, and in them we see another similarity between Aaron and Eli, because both Aaron and Eli had 2 of their sons killed in one day. I don't mean the 4 of them were killed in one day. 2 sons, Aaron's 2 sons died one day, and then another day, of course, during Eli's time, he also had 2 of his sons die the same day. That's another similarity between them. Now, both of them had their sons were supposed to be priests after them. In fact, both of them had their sons already serving as priests. And it was the nature of their service that actually sentenced them to the death that they died. So they died as a judgment against the nature of service they were offering as priests. Nature of service they were offering as priests. For everyone that bears the title of priest, we need to understand that it's a very delicate and sensitive office, which we must not take for granted. Now, when God kills your sons, what happens? What does that tell us? What stories does it tell us? What lessons do we learn from that? So let's look at Aaron first. The crazy thing about the death of Aaron's 2 sons, Nadab and Abihu, those are their names, was that they both died on the very first day that they started their assignment as priests. That was actually their very first assignment. So we see that in Leviticus chapter 10. So from the end of Exodus into the first chapters of Leviticus, we see God giving instructions about the tabernacle, instructions about the priesthood, instructions about sacrifice, and what kinds of sacrifice the priests were to offer. He gave all these instructions to Moses, who then passed the instruction to Aaron and his sons. So Aaron had 4 sons, right? He had Eleazar, Nadab, Abihu, and Ithamar. Ithamar, right? So on the day that Moses finished all the instructions and then told Aaron, now you guys should go ahead with your task, begin their inauguration. So basically their I don't know if that was the day they were ordained. I can't remember very clearly from Exodus to Leviticus, but that was the day they actually started the work. Aaron offered sacrifice, and then it got to Nadab and Abihu's turn, and in Leviticus chapter 10 it says that they offered strange incense, unacceptable incense before God, and God struck them and they died. And God told Aaron, shh, 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 don't cry, don't mourn them, let the people mourn them, but you, the high priest, don't mourn them. He couldn't even bury them. It was people that had to drag them out of the tabernacle and then, take them out of the camp to bury them. And Aaron was not allowed to mourn them. The priests, their brothers, were also not allowed to mourn them. And, I read Leviticus chapter 10 a couple of months ago, and I got very emotional, right? I'll tell you the part that got me emotional in the next video. So after the two sons died, some verses after they were buried gave us an inkling into what might have happened, because the next instructions God gave was whenever a priest was going to go into the place of sacrifice, they should not drink strong drinks. They should not take any strong drinks. So it's possible to infer that these guys had gone to Shayo. They are going to take one or two. And so they went in and their eyes was doing blah, blah, blah. And so they went to offer the incense they were not supposed to, because Moses had spent how many chapters telling them this is what to offer, this is what not to offer, this is how to offer. And then you get there your very first time and you are offering strange incense. And then the next thing God is saying is, when you want to enter here, come with clear eyes. Don't come with cloudy eyes. So most likely that was what happened, possibly. They were drunk and then they offered strange incense and they died. And one thing is that God always preserves, because that's what God told Aaron, and that's why I told him not to mourn them. He said, you must honor me before the people. You are the priests. You must honor me before the people. So that means anything you do in here that dishonors me will receive stricter judgment. You must honor me before the people. Now, they died, and then, after they had buried them and all that same day, Moses, the voice of God, then came, so part of the instructions is when they offer, I think the sin offering or something, when the goat is killed, the priest and the sons are to eat the meat and make sure it doesn't stay till the next day. So Moses came back and saw that the meat was still there. And then instead of talking to his brother Aaron, he didn't talk to his brother. He went to face the remaining two sons that were alive and said, guys, what's happening now? Why didn't you guys eat this? You know you are not supposed to allow it to stay till the next day and all that. And those were just like, we're just looking. And then Aaron spoke up and said, what, Moses, like these guys, these my sons, they have offered the sacrifice for the people today. And this kind of thing has happened to me. Like in one day I lost two sons. Said even if we ate the meat, even if I ate this meat, will it have been acceptable to God? Will this my service have been acceptable to God because of the state of my heart? To show he was brokenhearted, said this thing has befallen me this day. And Moses held his peace. Moses was satisfied with that answer, which means God did not hold it against Aaron for not fulfilling that thing in full, because actually God is mindful of how we feel also. Okay, so Eli, Aaron's priesthood continued down generations, got to Eli. Eli started serving as the high priest. Eli was the one that gave the priestly blessing to Hannah. She got pregnant, gave birth to Samuel, brought Samuel to the temple to be raised under Eli. So we know Eli was a priest of the Lord, was a high priest at that time. But he had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. Now these two sons were terrible guys. They were priests, serving as priests, but they were terrible. These guys were sleeping with ladies inside the temple. They were robbing people, accepting bribes to pervert justice. When people brought, offerings to the temple and were doing their sacrifice, so they are supposed to, offer the burnt offering and then give a part of it to the priest. But these guys will send their servant. Their servant will go to people that wanted to offer a burnt offering and say, "Give us fresh meat. Don't put it on the fire yet. We want fresh meat." And they were like, "Calm down now. Let's at least offer our offering first." They say, No. The priest does not want burnt one. We want fresh one, the one that we can keep inside freezer that will last longer. And so they will cut the portion they want and carry it. If the thing was boiling inside a pot, a cauldron, they will use a big fork and cook it inside and bring out huge pieces of meat and cut it away. And so people had very little meat to offer to God. God will get the meat safe. And I don't chop the meat finish before the thing reach offering stage. So everything they were doing was displeasing God. But God gave them a long rope. And then, Eli was a very soft father. Like, guys, now, you these children, you can't be doing things like this. How can the reports I'm hearing about you are not good? You need to change. Go and think about your ways. No firmness, no insistence. And so the judgment of God came upon Eli in chapter 2 of 1 Samuel. And the man of God came to tell him the judgment entailed the fact that there shall be no old person in his lineage. All the young men will die in their prime. God was going to cut his generation off from the priesthood, and his two sons were going to die in one day. And Eli didn't roll on the floor to say, God, have mercy, we'll do better. He just said, well, God has said it. He has decided, he has made up his mind. Whatever he wants to do is good for him to do. Not exactly the words he used, but, that was the sentiment of that. I'll try to wrap this up in the next video or two. Please stay with me. I'm going somewhere. Thank you.